All right, so today we're going to be talking about why there seems to be so many contradictions and paradoxes when we practice magic and the occult. So, let's get into it. Alright, so way back I did a video entitled Reconciling the Paradox. So I've touched on this before, but it seems that we're in need of a refresher. Frater Xavier, depolarizing is staying neutral, but how can you want things to manifest and still remain depolarized? Wouldn't wanting something be considered polarizing? Alright, so because of the nature of polarity itself, you are going to run into things that seem contradictory and paradoxical. As the Kabbalion says, every truth is but a half-truth. And so from time to time you may hear me say things such as, in order to manifest things you have to really want them. But later on you may hear me say, in order to manifest it you have to put it out of your mind. But how do you do both? How can you put it out of your mind while you really want the thing? So you're going to run into contradictions, you're going to run into paradoxes, you're going to hear me say things that are contradictory to what I may have said before. The key to reconciling the paradoxes is balance. We strive towards balance in all things. So you have to find the balance between wanting the object while you're doing the ritual and then putting it out of your mind completely afterward. Now, as the Kabbalion says, every truth is but a half-truth. How can I want things to manifest and remain depolarized? You may have heard me say it in another video. I want for naught. But that doesn't mean I don't have needs. There's not really a whole lot that I want other than a decent life. And I know that that's subjective, the meaning of which will vary from person to person. You may also remember me saying that by the time you're proficient in manifesting those things that you want, there's a pretty good chance you'll no longer want them. Now, I don't necessarily consider that a bad thing, because wanting is fleeting, empty. It doesn't last. Needs should always have priority over your wants. And the thing about needs is you'll never run out of them. Needs can also go beyond just basic needs. In order to expand your business, you may need to invest in some capital. For example, you may need to banish some things out of your life. It's not always bringing something to you. So to answer the question, it's a half-truth. You should get to a point where you want for nothing. Now, should you be put on blast for going after the things that you want? No, of course not. It's just that as you get further into your development and you depolarize more and more, you'll begin to want less and less. And you'll begin to prioritize your needs over your wants. And I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing. So I wanted to touch upon this because this wasn't the only person asking about this. In fact, we had someone ask a similar question in the previous mailbag. I also get people writing in comments from time to time saying, oh, he contradicted himself. He said something else before, and now he's saying this. But that's because they're conditioned to think in terms of an absolute truth, where there's just one answer, and that's it. But in a realm of duality and polarity, we know that every truth is but a half-truth, meaning there's not just one answer. There's not just one side to things, and that maintaining a balance is the key. So if I explain something that seems contradictory to a way that I've explained it before, the key is to find the balance between the two. Just like the balance you have to strike between really desiring something and not caring about it at all. Magic and the occult are full of contradictions and paradoxes. I think only the Bible has more. So when you run across them, the key is to balance them out. And I think that's about it with that. I thought it would take a little more time to explain it, but apparently not. I feel pretty good about the way I put things. The only thing that I think I would add is that instead of making it more difficult, depolarization makes it easier to reconcile the paradox, to find the balance between both sides. It's one of the many reasons that we work towards it. We still have a little time, so what else do we have? You should give this info for free. The law of 3 up in you. Shame on you. No. This was a comment on the Spells of Love and Loss sale that's going on right now through February 14th. If there's any one thing that I shouldn't give away to the general public for free, it's love spells and how to influence other people because of the potential for abuse. So shame on me, no, shame on you for feeling as if you're somehow entitled to something for nothing and for wanting to shove the law of 3 up in me, whatever the hell you meant by that. But perhaps you should consider following me on Twitter, where I do give things away occasionally, you cheap ass. You're not fooling me. You have no moral high ground on me, sir. See, this is something that people do. The truth is he's just cheap and doesn't want to spend the money. But he wants to act like he's all morally superior. Now, if you see no value in it, you see no value in it. That's perfectly fine. But don't come riding up to me on your high horse unless you're prepared to be knocked off of it. The irony is that I charge for my programs to keep people like this away from them because I know they're not going to pay for them. It's the ones that feel entitled to everything that are the most likely to abuse the information. So there you go. Hi, Frater. I'm enjoying your products and free content. My mother recently discovered I'm a mystic, as she calls it, despite my attempts to keep it private. Obviously, there was a shitstorm afterwards. Well, it's not really obvious to me because I don't know your circumstances or situation, but I have a feeling you're going to tell me about it. I'm the only non-Christian in my family. There it is. And my parents are praying against my practice and preaching at my wife and me. What can I do to guard against both the subconscious effects this confrontation is having on me and their prayer magic interfering with my magic? Well, you done messed up, son. I mean, your parents mean well. Of course they mean well. But the road to hell is paved with good intentions. This is why I don't tell people, like, when I'm sick, not feeling well on Facebook or social media or things like that, because you'll get a bunch of people saying, I'll pray for you, prayers. And it's not that they don't mean well. I just don't have confidence in their ability to pray. Because the average person thinks that praying for someone is wishing them to be well, while they're visualizing them being sick. So what they're actually doing is magic to make you sicker, instead of visualizing you well as if you already are. So it's not their intentions that I have a problem with. It's their capability, which is only a result of a lack of understanding. I mean, I really don't know what to tell you here. Parents are parents. I'd like to say you're a grown man. You're old enough to have a wife. So you should be able to be old enough to tend your own business, make decisions for yourself, live your own life. But parents are parents. They're always going to see you as their child, which means they're going to interfere with you. The advice is to keep it concealed, to not let it get to this point. Because, in all honesty, you're just going to have to deal with it from here on out. Now, you asked what you could do to guard against the subconscious effects the confrontation is having on you. I don't know the effects that you're referring to, but the subconscious mind doesn't have the ability to reject anything. It sees all and absorbs all. Your only filter for the subconscious mind is the conscious mind. So anything you want to filter out, I would advise you to pay attention to. Consciously, it will block it from getting into the subconscious. But that is the only way to keep things from getting into your subconscious. I've said it before, so things that you don't catch that you need to worry about getting into your subconscious. not the things that you're paying attention to. As for their prayers interfering with your magic, that's the bigger issue I see with this, because it has the potential to become a back and forth type of magical Cold War. They pray for you, you have to defend against it, and the cycle just continues. So I suggest learning a lot of protection magic. You could do magic to get them to stop praying for you, perhaps a binding spell to get them to focus upon something else. But that may only work for a while, until they see you again and remember that they need to pray for their heathen child. I mean, there are some things that you just can't undo, and this is one of them. You're going to be preached at, you're going to be prayed for. Your efforts to conceal your practice failed, and now you have to live with the consequences of that. There are no do-overs when it comes to concealment. So make sure that you only reveal your practice to those who you want to know. But yeah, you're going to have to learn some protection magic and counter their prayer magic with your own. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't have fun with it. I mean, sometimes I like to mess with people. Oh, they're going to pray for me? Well, then I'll offer to do some magic for them when they're not feeling well. Or to conjure a demon for them if they're having a problem. Oh, but they don't want you doing that. So sometimes it's fun to give them a taste of their own medicine once in a while, but your mileage may vary. You have to be cautious that it won't do more harm than good. You don't want to get into a situation where they really freak out and disown you or something. And that will about do it for today. Once again, Spells of Love and Loss is on sale now through February 14th, Valentine's Day, for 20% off the regular price. Link in the video and in the description. You can come follow me on Twitter at Frater Xavier, or consider supporting the channel over at patreon.com/mindandmagick, where every pledge gets early access to Mystery School videos before they arrive on YouTube. I'd like to thank everyone for listening, and I'll see you next time. Take care.